Turn off all my volumes.
Hello, hello. Food friends and welcome to Triple Food Favor. We're also in Paranormal Activity. Been for a long time. Triple Food Coffee, Paranormal One, nothing new here. Paranormal Live, right here on Triple Food Favor. We're so glad you can hang out with us.
I can't.
You can. So we are so glad you're here today. Let us know if you're here. Just say hello to us in that chat box. But like I said, welcome to Sunday night. Every Sunday night here at Triple Moon Vapors is going to be Paranormal Live, brought to you by Triple Moon Mafia Paranormal. We're so excited. So hopefully you're here. Either the Shadow People has sparked your interest, the Hat Man, or Spirit Communication, or some haunted items. But we're just glad you're here, every single one of you. So welcome, welcome all. So give us just a moment so we can share into our social media saying that we are live and we will get the show on the road. Hmm? Oh, wait a minute. So while we're sharing, I'm going to play our intro one more time. All right, all right. We're so glad you are here tonight for this amazing paranormal live.
Hello, everyone.
So evidently the intro didn't want to play again. All right, so you're here for an amazing paranormal live. We are so excited that you're here with us. So Shadow Raven's going to talk about that shadow people and the Hat Man, and then myself, I'm going to talk about a little bit about spirit communication and show you a couple items that are in my home that are very haunted indeed. Then Harley's going to talk to you about his paranormal experience because Harley is a part of Triple Moon Mafia Paranormal Team. So we'll turn over the floor to Harley first to talk about some paranormal experiences he's been having lately in his home and who he might think that paranormal experience might be. So Harley, tell us about what's going on in your house.
All right. So I have been home alone while my husband's at work, and I've been hearing people saying my name, and I turn around, there's nobody there. I sit there and I try to think to myself, or my baby cousin that passed away. And all I know is it's either a male or a female voice saying there's nobody there. So I figured it's either my aunt, my uncle, or some of my grandparents. So I'm glad they're here with me. They're always watching me, talking, let me know they're okay. They're not more.
Right, exactly.
And there's somebody in the chat that we are not putting minds to. We put minds on our channels.
All right, and now we're going to let it go over. Well, you want me to show let me show one haunted item in.
Your camera's off.
Oh, I will turn it back on. I want to show you one haunted item that is my house. It is a doll. I do collect spirit dolls. Spirit dolls are haunted dolls. Some people might think it's a little freaky. This one I'm about to show you does cause chaos with another spirit doll that I have. Now, my other spirit doll that I have, that the two don't get along, I'll show you next Sunday. But you're going to meet Lucy, who is known to actually turn over television and be at different locations within the home. She causes chaos if she doesn't get her way. And her skin does change colors and her eyes does move back and forth like she's just staring at you. So are you prepared to meet Lucy?
I am ready.
All right, so let me get her situated. I want to take her out of her rocking chair that she likes to be in.
But
Now,
sometimes
how I got this doll was at an antique store. We went in just to look for things because who doesn't love an antique store, right? And I kept on hearing a little girl saying, "Hello, I'm talking to you." So I went searching all over and she led me to her and I had to take her home. Now, everybody has been wanting this doll, but I will never get rid of her. She is mine. But let me get her ready. So let's go on camera. Here we go. Here is Lucy. She is my spirit doll. Very cute, very. What's distinct about Lucy is she reminds me of a spirit guide I used to have, and her name was Emily. David can tell you about Emily.
Yep.
And Emily's no longer with me as a spirit guide. I sent her on to help out children who needs protection from the unknown. We actually have captured Emily before she left my presence, and all you can see is a resemblance of a girl with long black hair. Everything else is gray and white, and you can see a red bow. Now, I have Lucy. Lucy is my haunted spirit doll.
And as you can see, the necklace on her is a pearl and a pendant.
She has a pearl pendant because something happened, and ever since she has worn this necklace, she's content. You take it off of her, she's not happy. She is known to actually turn over a television because her and another doll I have do not get along. You put them together, chaos is going to be in the house. So Lucy's in one room, the other spirit doll that I'll show you next Sunday is in another. But we will do some EVP work with her and we'll upload it on this channel uh, in different recordings. So here is the Lucy. That is one of the haunted items that is in my home, my temple. Now we're going to let Shadow Raven talk about the shadow people.
And I'm going to let you guys know that pearl and pendant came from Astrid or Triple Moon Vapor's oyster show that she no longer does.
All right, Shadow Raven, tell us about the shadow people.
Okay. Let me pull some stuff up here. Basically, there's several theories about shadow people. One of them being that they could be either a spirit or a ghost. Another one, they could be astral projections, where somebody has fallen asleep or is during meditation of the lock and they're astral planning, not necessarily to another dimension, but to here on Earth, and it's their spirit roaming around while they're sleeping or meditating. The other one is they could be guardians, kind of like spirit guardians. The other one is the one that I have experienced myself whenever I was 6 years old. I grew up in a town called Abilene, Texas, and we lived in a house. I'm not exactly sure how old this house was. Excuse me. Um, Anyways, like I said, I grew up in this house, and it was a fairly old house. To give you a little bit of background on it, there was my biological father, my ex stepmother, her two kids, and my sister and myself, all living in this house. And it was technically a 2-bedroom house with a walk-in closet, a garage, one bathroom, a fairly large kitchen and living room with a dining room. Uh, with that being said, with there only being 2 bedrooms and you have all these kids, 4 kids, um, the bedroom my sister and my ex stepsister took, so therefore it left the walk-in closet for myself and my ex stepbrother to have. So we basically turned that walk-in closet, which was branched off of the master bedroom where my biological father had slept, to us. We turned it into a bedroom for us. Uh, there was no windows to it, so whenever you close the door, it's pretty much pitch black when you turn the lights out. Um, so with that being said, for kind of like a night light, in order to keep us calm at night, I mean, we was kids. We had one of those old stereos with the really dim light that would kind of glow out of the what do you call it? Um, little thing that you select a station with. So it put a kind of like a warm glow across the bedroom. Uh, One particular night, I'm sleeping on the top bunk of our bunk beds, and I kind of had this feeling like something was watching us, watching me while I was sleeping, just like a real eerie feeling. And my back was towards where you actually get off the bunk beds, so I was pretty much facing a wall. Um, I flip over and look straight at the stereo, and there stood the Hat Man. And to describe this entity, pretty much a black void standing there staring at you. You had no features except for a silhouette of a man standing there with a hat on. It absorbed all light, which tells me that this is a demonic being. Also, another symptom that tells me there was a demonic entity is the fact that fear, deadly fear, struck all over me, paralyzed. Uh, Scared me so bad that I fell back asleep. Um, Eventually, but I called out to this entity because I thought it was my dad playing tricks on me, and I just yelled out, "Dad, Dad!" Not even realized that my dad happened to be out of town that weekend. Um, but like I said, it scared me so bad to where I fell asleep. Um, Ever since then, periodically to this day, I still see him. Um, Doing some research a couple of years ago, turns out that I'm not the only one that has seen this entity across the globe. There's been many others due to the help of YouTube um, and other social media, doing Google searches, forums uh, of the like. So that's pretty much my experience of the Hat Man and the Shadow People.
That's
That's
right.
right.
And
And
we
we
have
have
experienced that
experienced
in
that
our
in our
home
home
for
for
sure.
sure.
Uh,
Uh,
so
so
I
I
suppose
suppose
that
that
I
I
showed
should
you
include
Lucy, my
my
haunted
haunted
doll,
dog,
my
my
spirit
spirit
doll.
dog.
So,
So
Spirit
Spirit
communication. I'm going to go ahead and say
say
this warning.
warning.
Anything I'm about to show you for spirit communication, can you hear me?
Yep.
Right. For spirit communication, you have to know how to properly open and close the communication board or communication divination items. This is not to be played with. This is not a toy. It is a portal that you can open and you need to know how to close it. The Ouija, known to me as the spirit board, is not a game. I repeat, the Ouija, known to me as a spirit board, is not a game. If you do not know how to properly open the Ouija board or spirit board and properly close it, you will be sending us an email to try to get whatever you have opened and brought into your home. I repeat, it is not a game.
It
All
is
right?
not.
Not a game. It is a portal. Okay? You can lead out anything of the unknown, any spirits, any demonic spirits. Yes, there's demons. Read up on your demonology. Just saying. Please remember, and I will say it again, any of the divination tools I'm about to show you, you have to be trained. Not just, you got to study, you got to train, you got to know what you're dealing with. And if you get scared of a little bit of a horror movie, it's going to be a million times worse. You do not need to play with it. Okay? You need to know how to properly open and close. I'm not going to show you that, how to properly close it, because that's not my responsibility. It's my responsibility to properly open and close it when I use these devices. And let me tell you, I properly open the portal and I properly close it. I have not had nothing attached to my home, my temple, my house, myself, my husband. Just saying, because I know I'm dealing with. You're talking to an experienced witch right here. So I'm about to show you one of my favorite all-time divination tools for communication, spirit communication. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let me get my. Okay, here we go. Let me get my camera back up.
Yes.
My favorite form of spirit communication is the Ouija. I call it my spirit board. I have my custom planchette right here. I don't know if you can see it.
I can.
Okay. My nickname is called the Pumpkin Spider Queen. There's my spider. There I am. It is a planchette. You need to know how to properly open and close a portal. This right here device is a portal. You have no idea who you're talking to on the other side. There's several dimensions. You have no idea. You could be talking to a lost soul who does not want to cross over to another dimension. You could be talking to a demonic spirit. You have no clue. I will repeat, this is not a game. This is a serious divination tool for those who know how to properly open it. The movie Ouija, everybody wants to go to Toys R Us or wherever else sells Ouija boards, Spencer's, whatever. And they, oh, this is so cool. Look, it's moving. You open the portal. You wonder why things are attached to you. Or this is why. That's one of my favorite spirit communication tools
That's.
to use.
I never sit there and mess with those.
No, if you don't know how to use it, do not. Do not. It can
Mm-mm.
be a living nightmare for you. Just saying. It's
You
the
know,
truth.
demons or whatever into your home, and that way you can get rid of them.
Right.
Guarantee you'll be sending us an email if you do.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell
And
you,
let me
no
tell
joke, where we're from, we have been asked to go cleanse people's homes. We have dealt with demons and we have fought demons and got them out of people's homes. And I'm not kidding you because we're not afraid to fight them. Just saying.
That's
And
what
yes,
triple.
we do get scratches. And yes, we do get our hair pulled. And yes, it's crazy. But we will not leave a home until we get whatever's in that home completely out.
And there is one show that I do watch, and it's called Ghost Adventures, and that's a show I actually enjoy.
All right. So is it still my turn?
I believe so. Yes.
All right. The next thing that I love to do for divination is called a scrying mirror. And there's also people can also use crystal balls. Now, my crystal balls that I use is going to be a black obsidian. It's a scrying ball. The scrying mirrors, or known as black mirrors, are another way to look into another dimension. Okay? And yes, you can see stuff. Well, not everybody can. Let me rephrase that. Not everybody can. Only certain people. How would you put it, Shadow Raven?
Shadow Raven, I do like your picture.
Oh, thank you.
What
What
what would
what
you
would you
say? Not
not
everybody can do it. Only people who have like their third eye open can really do the scribe mirror with a black mirror. So here is a scribe mirror. Is a black mirror. That's
Wow.
one of my forms of spirit communication. You never know who's going to come through it. This is a portal also, so you need to know how to properly open and close it. When I'm not using it, I'm just showing you today. It's covered up in black velvet until I'm ready to use this. Okay. Now, another form, like I said, I have a black obsidian spear. That is another way that I can do, and it's a portal too. When I'm not using it, it's covered up with citrine. It's covered up with sage, a little bit of sage, and everything in it for protection. Okay. Just saying, another form of spirit communication. All right, got that down the board. Another
And we,
form of spirit communication.
and we never said what we were vaping on either.
Oh, it's okay. We'll do it in a minute. Is
Yep.
tarot cards. Okay, tarot oracle cards. You need to know how to properly open them and properly close the portal anytime you use these, because your ancestors. I'm just holding this up for demonstration of communication. Your ancestors, spirits, will come through the cards to tell people what they want to hear or what they need to hear. They don't sugarcoat anything. So
Nope.
you need to know how to open and close tarot or oracle cards. Another form of spirit communication. Let me get it out of the box. Let me get it out of his bag.
And if you're ever looking for paranormal removal out of your home, contact the Triple Moon Mafia Paranormal team.
Anybody know what this is?
No, what is that? Is that like a piece of metal sage?
It's a pendulum.
Pendulum. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pendulum. So you can see it better. That's why I'm holding it up.
Yep.
Pendulum working. When you do it before you open and close, the spirit can talk to you through the pendulum. Make sure you properly open the portal and close the portal. Another form of spirit communication I love. Just saying. So that's spirit communication. Any questions so far? Do we have any?
Only from the one person that we're not talking to.
Oh, because the show's not about aliens, it's about paranormal spooky stuff.
Yep.
Right.
What are the dimensions called?
Well, they're okay. How could I put this? As
Maybe.
my belief as a witch, there's 3 dimensions. My goddess holds the keys to 3 of them. So therefore, not aliens, but there's 3 dimensions.
Yep.
That is to my belief. But it could be different to any other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me put my pendulum back into its box. So it's protected. Alright. Alright. So let me tell you about a case that we did. Well, I mean, case it's part of the Triple Moon Mafia, and at the time I wish we recorded it, but we didn't because it was an emergency and we had to go and help these 2 people out. And I'll let Shaw Raven talk too. It was somebody from his work was having issues at their home. And she knew that it was a spirit or it could have been a demonic spirit. So we took on the case without any really background, but we knew what was going on. We just felt like this was something we had to do. So we got the address. We're coming to the, and I remember it vaguely. We're down this road. And I told him, I said, it's only a couple of houses on the street. I feel it. I feel it. And I feel it so bad in my stomach, I want to throw up. Sure enough, he pulls in. And I'll let him go from there because at that point, I want him to tell you how he felt. About the house that we went to get that big demonic spirit out and the three other spirits that we left the older lady in the attic.
Oh, they're in Maryville?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, when we drove up, I was snapping pictures like I typically do before we even entered the property. From the street to the front door, which the front door is wide open. Pretty much saw just pretty much nothing but darkness through my third eye. The house was pretty much in, I really don't know how to say it lightly, pretty much trashed, I guess. There was what was that?
It was
Oh,
It was trash.
I forgot what it was.
Let me tell you why it was trash. When you have a spirit, a demonic spirit on you
you
get
get
depression
depression
to where
to
you
where
want to
you
come
can
clean
clean
Yeah.
and you
and
live
you live
in a mess, a
and
nasty
ask
mess,
you
and you
and
think
you
it's
think,
okay, but
but
technically
technically
it's
it's
not.
not.
Okay, go
Okay,
ahead.
go ahead.
We're going as far as not to get gross or disgusting, but there was dirty tampons laying in the bathroom, um, not in the trash. They were just laying about. Uh, but yeah, whenever you're in a state of depression, which a demonic being, once they're latched onto you, they will feed off of your fear to a point to where you are in a state of depression, um, which also leads to not wanting to take care of your household chores, a lot of things that you used to enjoy doing, um, watching movies, playing video games, even if it's a hobby like flying remote control airplanes or whatever it may be. Um, Eventually, you'll be sitting in your living room staring at the wall, uh, trash being piled up, that sort of thing. The individual had found out about my beliefs and asked us to come over. And when we went over there, we did basically everything that we could do in order to help the individual get rid of this demonic being or beings. Uh, for a while, it helped out. And then as soon as she turned her back on us, it came right back simply because all of our spells, all our workings had pretty much been broken because she pretty much disrespected us. Um, which that wasn't in our intentions. It's just how it worked. I mean, we was there to help the individual. So, you got anything to add?
Yeah.
Um, on the outside before we went into the home, I felt, I knew there was a demon. I knew there were 4 other souls there. I'll call them souls because although they might be ghosts or whatever you want to call it, I call them souls, even though they're not on this universe, but they're here. There was one in the attic, which is an older woman. That's the one that communicated the most. Tell me about the 3 that like to play tricks inside the home. Now, the one in the attic was the grandmother who actually that house belonged to, and her grandson was living in it. And then she told me, but I don't like that scary, 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 tall, dark, red eyes. And that's what she kept on saying. So I knew for a fact what we were going to go up against. Now, before I enter home, I always ask properly if I could enter. Of course, she told me yes because that's her property. Because she knew I was there to help. But when I got close to the door, and I'm not kidding you, I was pushed back a little bit. Like, you cannot. Because, see, you take it with a grain of salt, wherever you want to think, but this is the truth and honest opinion. This is truth. Us witches are not afraid to go against demons, period. Now, some might be, but for mine and David's case, we're not. So we went into the home. I pushed through. Like, that demon did not want us in there because it knew what we were about to do. When I do a working, I go from outside the home. I don't do it within the house because I'm working on the outside property to get that ready to cleanse and go. Then I go inside and battle. That's the way I work my stuff. So usually, if anybody's familiar with a chime candle, which I use chime candles all the time, love them. Usually, a chime candle does not burn all the way down less than a minute. That's how powerful what we were facing and how quickly we got rid of it. Now, like David said, the chick turned her back on us, and what we did in there was to keep it in its place as long as nothing has been broken. Okay? Nothing has been broken. So when it was broken, it gave an open portal. Now, we could have closed it and sealed it back. But at the time, to get rid of this level of a demon, we had to do something like that because a lot of stuff wasn't working. I left the older woman home. That is her property. She wanted to stay. So I left her because she's sweet. She ain't going to cause chaos. She's upset because that house was a filthy mess. And I'm telling you, it's a filthy mess. When you have spirits, or what I still call them souls because all they might not be present on this universe, but they're here for a reason. Either to finish unwanted business, or to keep connected with their loved ones, or they just don't want to go to another dimension. You know, that's the way I feel. But she was there to help. She wouldn't cause chaos, although she's upset because her house is destroyed, pretty much. So I did not get rid of her. Everything I got rid of was those 3 other souls that were like, they're kind of like jokers. Is that what you think, David? That's what it reminds me of. They like to play tricks. I mean, but they were all afraid of that demon. Now, coming down to it, that demon was attached to this girl. It has been attached to her since she was a teenager. Yes, they can get attached to you, and wherever you go, they go with you. Doesn't matter where you live. Just saying. Because when we did our initial thing, when we talked to her over the phone, and she said, and we talked to her outside before we did everything going in, that she has felt this specific, she called it spirit, but it was a demon, since the age of her teens. So it was connected to her. So when she went back to doing her own ways, that opened the portal to that demon to come back to her. It was attached. There's an attachment. Sometimes it's hard to break an attachment from a demonic spirit to a specific person. So if you go back to your old ways, although they're gone, like we can go in there and get rid of it, it's going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, her boyfriend, who actually that was his house that she was living with him, when we got done and everything, he was kind of disrespectful. I mean, it really was. And see, in his eyes, the house looked magnificent. But I'm telling you, when your kitchen, you can't even get to it, and your dishes are so bad that it's growing mold in the sink of filthy water and stuff, you got a problem a little bit. And you can't really, to me, you can't really, when we see this, not only daily basis, but here and there, I mean, you can't blame the individual. It's what they have in their home. It attaches to them. It sets them in that depression state. It sets them in this mind state that they think everything's okay.
Which one thing that I want to say is the fact that we're not slamming these individuals of their housekeeping skills. They both of them. I worked with both of them, and they were extremely good workers. So they were not lazy at all. It was just depression from this being that was inside their home, this entity. One thing that I would like to add to the shadow people is the fact that I don't care what kind of shadow person it is, whether it's a hat man, um, old hag, it's also called old hag syndrome. No matter what it is, um, on a personal level, all shadow people are demonic spirits. I mean, whenever you think about a human spirit, what do you imagine? I mean, think about that. So they're not going to show up in the form of a shadow person. Now, what I read was a clip or an article about shadow people that my sister had sent me. Um, but to a degree, some of that I would have to disagree with.
Yeah.
Right. And like you say, we wouldn't diss in their housekeeping skills at all. Not everybody's a great housekeeper. And if you are, hello, send me an email. I'd love to hire you for me.
Yeah, I mean, a house has got to be lived in. I mean, it's not going to look immaculate all the
No.
time.
But what we're saying is that house really wasn't livable in a way. But like I said, we don't blame them. We knew what caused the situation, you know. Um, but that's just one case. Like we've had several other cases, and it's really nice that the community that we're at respects us. Does that make sense? Like, not a lot of communities will respect a witch or somebody who does what we do with paranormal and stuff, but they really do truly respect us. Like, even if we have somebody and everybody knows, if it's Jehovah Witnesses, churches knock on your door, they respect you, but they don't leave a pamphlet. They just say, "Hey, I just checking on you. Are you guys doing okay?" Or, "Hey, they have our number to text us if we've got to go and cleanse one of their congregation members' home." That is what you call a great bond in a relationship with your local community and churches. Um, what else I would like to talk about too is I have a lot of people asking me, "Hey, I keep on having this dream over and over again," and I said sometimes it's a message. There's messages in your dreams. Um, and if you keep on having a message like that, it's somebody from the other side, or it could be somebody who's still well not present in the universe in a human form that's alive, but somebody that you might have as a spirit guide trying to tell you something. You do have those too. Um, but if you feel like, okay, how can I say it? Somebody's like, they asked me, okay, I keep on seeing this figure, which is they described it, and every time I see it close to me, I get cold chills. Do you think that's a phenomenal? Do you think it's a spirit? I go, and I'll look at them and go, tell them most likely yes, it is. Just don't be scared, Just don't be scared.
Yeah, I get those chills when it's not even cold out or cold in my apartment.
Yeah, just don't be scared. I mean, and it's not going to be for everybody. one thing I could say, even if you're ghost hunting or if you're doing paranormal research or whatever, just make sure you're prepared. You're ready to go. You do have to protect yourself. Because you are working with the dead. It's good to always, cleanse yourself. Like, even if you do sage, Palo Santo, whatever you have to do. Because even when you're out there ghost hunting and stuff, especially if you're going to do it in graveyards or any paranormal research, please do make sure that you are protected and that you do, like when you get home or whatever, you can use sage, Palo Santo, whatever you need to say. Whatever, or when you leave a graveyard, thank you so much for letting me come and visit you today. Please nothing follow me home or attach yourself to me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And either cleanse yourself by, sage, Palo Santo. You can even do it with lighting an incense and, going around you from your head to your toe and just thank them for their presence and tell them not to follow you and say it sternly. And they should respect you and not do it. Now, you're at a graveyard and you do all that, you have something come home, most likely it's not a spirit, it's something else demonically because they don't care if you tell them to or not. That's why you got to be prepared for the battle. uh it's not just something that you can go out there and do. And I hate to say it, and some people might not like me saying this, but I think Shal Reva agrees with me. Just wearing a cross is not going to really protect you when you're going to work with the dead, spirits, or whatever else.
If anything, you're going to piss it off.
Piss it off. I mean, holy water can work so much, okay? But you gotta realize you're communicating with a deceased, and sometimes in that now it could be a demonic spirit. You can do all you want in ghost box sessions and these MPV readings and all that other stuff and phenomenal stuff, which is awesome, amazing. We do it, but just having yourself protected and please don't no hate or anything. It's just that we have seen other people who we know personally that done it and thinking that a cross can do everything, and they have actually had things attached to them. So just keep that in mind. You've got to know how to properly open things because when you're working with the dead or anything like that, you are opening a portal. You are talking to somebody through a portal, okay? They're not physically on this dimension, technically. They're uh they're in between where they can go back and forth. So you gotta remember that. Okay.
Yep.
Um well, I don't talk in my head. I forgot.
If anything, you can bake them brownies in order to get rid of them. Also, if you can't contact us or anything like that.
Make them cookies. They love it. Right?
Oh shoot.
I mean, seriously, and I'm not saying that not if you want to communicate with the dead or if you want to do paranormal. I'm not saying that to turn you off from it. I just want you to be prepared for the battle. You know, Um, Also, when you do it, like one thing we do when we do our paranormal stuff, and we go back and look at some of the footage that we do have, we debunk a whole lot of things before we say, okay, this is what it was. You know what I mean? Uh, Things like orbs. You might think you've seen orbs, and it can totally be different particles of stuff. You got to look at different conditions of things. Um, like when we captured on film, which is on the old camera or something we can't find anymore. Which what we should have done was put it on a disk drive or whatever. Uh, was Emily, my spirit guide, who's no longer with me. And when you have a spirit guide, to capture a spirit guide on camera is unheard of. But distinctly, David captured her on camera, and I'll let David explain that experience because it's something that we'll always remember. I think, right, David?
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell them about that experience with the camera.
I actually wish I still had that picture. I was reformatting the computer and I accidentally deleted it. Um, is whenever Astrid and I had first got together. I had this little camera and I was just playing with it, and it had a panoramic feature on it. I believe it's what it's called. But anyways, pretty much where you take pretty much hold the camera in one spot, and you hit the shutter button, and you go all pan around all the whole entire room, and it takes out one big picture, kind of like a 360 view of the whole entire room. Just playing with it, and I was going to go searching through the series of photos that I had taken, and to my surprise, in the doorway was a figure standing there of a little girl wearing a red bow, and it was really, really faint. I had to zoom in on it, um, but I saw the red bow just clear as day, and I was wondering what that was. That's the reason why I zoomed in on it. Well, it turned out to be a little girl in ghost form. It's kind of disfigured. Um, and I happened to show it to Astrid and to get her attention. And I was just like, look what I got on this camera. And she said, that's Emily. I said, who's Emily? And she goes, that's my spirit guide. So that was actually a pretty cool experience for me. Actually capturing a spirit, a human spirit for the first time. So, and I wish to this day that I didn't delete that photo by accident. I wish I still had it. So always back up your data, folks. So
Oh, okay. Tell them what led you to taking the picture, though.
the what?
What led you to take a picture?
Like I said, I believe he was watching YouTube. I can't remember what she was doing.
I was singing a song.
Oh yeah, you were singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star." Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. That's what you were singing. Yeah.
But it wasn't like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It was like a how would you say, kind of like a spooky in a way, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That part I forgot.
It's been a while since Emily's been with us, by the way. Because when I met her on LinkedIn, she hasn't been with us since.
Yeah, she's actually moved on to another person. So.
When she was around, like I wouldn't know what I was doing, and they was like, "Was that Twinkle Twinkle Little Star?" And you have no idea. But every time she was around, when she was close, I would start humming this weird version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
I actually believe on our first date, before that event, on our first date, you was actually humming it also.
And see, I didn't know I was doing it until somebody told me. That's how spirit guides can do different things. Like it depends on different spirit guides. Just like Fred, he likes himself to be known. He likes to touch electronics. That's one of my spirit guides right now. He's an older British man. He loves his cognac, cigars, and coffee. And he lets himself be known. If you don't get his way, he likes to open up stuff and cause a little chaos. But he's a pretty cool, chill guy.
And then he likes to sit there and take pictures of Astrid when she's looking at her phone. He'll sit there.
He does. He takes pictures. He turns off cameras. He turns off technology stuff. Plus,
he's also the individual that helped me do a video. We used to run a Pearl show called the Haunted Pearl Show, and we was doing a commercial for that direct sales business that we had. And in that video, he actually helped us do a part of that with the Ouija board.
Yeah, he actually, and he does. And we might do that here on this channel. We're trying to figure out how we can do it. We're going to hook up a different camera to probably the GoPro or something like that to the laptop so we can stream it live like this on this platform. And no joke, Fred will move the planchette without us touching it.
Actually, let's picture that Fred Cook looks like mine.
Oh, Fred only stays here.
It looks like that. It looks like my blinds and my vat that's up in my ceiling.
Yeah. I mean, they're known to touch things. I mean, they love electronics. They draw energy off electronics.
Oh, he took my picture. What the hell?
I don't know if Fred did. I mean, Fred stays right here. He ain't going anywhere. I ain't sending him nowhere.
Yeah, but that
Which actually, Astrid, you reminded me of something. That's another key sign that you have a very strong demon is the fact that your batteries will drain off your cell phones, cameras, whatever, extremely quicker than normal.
Like
And I'm not talking about hours. I'm talking about within minutes.
that's why.
Just like that black chime candle about that one case we went on. That's why I said a chime candle does not burn down less than a minute. So we already knew what we were facing, but that reconfirmed what we were facing on the outside we working in. So yeah. So when you're going to paranormal stuff, make sure you bring plenty of batteries. Make sure you bring a all kinds of stuff like a cell phone charge. What do you call it? Anyways, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Plenty of batteries because they will drain the crap out of batteries. Like he said, like David said, Shaw Raven, he said, a demonic spirit will drain your batteries less than a minute. Then you know you got some tough stuff up in that case. Just saying. And some people are like, oh no, there's not demonic. Yes, read your Demonology 101. There's a book, Demonology. Go get it. Read it.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually several books on that. I'm still reading.
Yeah. There's several. There's Demonology Encyclopedia. We can get you a whole list if you need it. But yeah, I mean, seriously. And, do your research. And one thing is, if you're going to go into paranormal, do your research. Just don't be an amateur about it. At least do some research so that you know what you're looking for and how to prepare yourself going into that field. Yeah, it's awesome to hear on a ghost box somebody talking to you or MPP, do your MPP work and stuff like that. It's awesome to hear it, but you got to know that things can attach to you if you don't know how to properly open and close things. They are portals. You are working with the deceased, the dead, and the unknown, and demonic spirits. I just want to make sure everybody's safe when they go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody that joins our paranormal team, we kind of go through kind of like a debriefing, kind of like this is the ins and outs. This is what you're going to be dealing with. You know, sometimes you got to go in there and battle, and yeah, you might get scratched. You might get your hair pulled. That's how they work.
You might get your hair pulled, scratched, pushed.
Yeah, and is it something that you can handle? And if you don't, that's fine. That's totally cool. Because if not, we can have you behind the scenes, kind of going over video, going over audio, and things like that. That just lets us know where can we put them. What we like to call the battlefront. And we're going in and do what we got to do.
Yep.
Which we're not afraid to do what we got to do. Got to do what
And
we got to do. Okay, I'm going to bring my haunted picture when Johnny the Vapor comes on our next Sunday show because
yep.
the expression on his face is priceless because he's actually seen this picture before and he has actually seen her move. So I'm going to hold off on that until we can get Johnny on there and he can tell his experience with her. But this picture is either from the early 90s or, yeah, early 19th centuries or it's late 18th centuries. So you'll meet the wonderful madam in that picture. And then you'll also meet another spirit doll or haunted doll on the next next live video for sure.
now we got to say what we're vaping on.
Okay, we can say what we're vaping on.
All right. I am vaping on the T-Prep 3 with the TFP12 rainbow tank that came with it. Vape Wild Wrecking Ball.
And I am vaping on my S-Priv skull because every skull is unique. I have in there s'mores from Loaded E Liquid. This is so good. All right. Also, um, what is it? I have things on the tip of my tongue. I'm
Shadow
moving on. Oh,
Vape.
we see. He's vaping on a cigarette right now. He's not transitioned all the way to vaping. He's part-time vapor. We're getting him there, okay?
Yep.
That would be Marlboro Black Menthols.
He's part vapor. We're getting to the transition, okay? He has cut back smoking a lot. He's almost there.
All I gotta say about cigarettes is
And the best time to work or do your paranormal research, anything, is during the witching hour. That's
Yes.
when they're going to be more active.
And that would be between 2:30 and 3 o'clock. And
Not
Not
PM.
here.
I believe that's AM.
That's in the morning, yeah. That's
That's
when
when
they're
they're
more
more
active. When you get more active.
And if you wake up at those times, just go back to sleep. Don't even look around the room or anything. Trust me, I know.
Once I'm asleep at 10 or 11, I'm out.
Everybody wonders why I can't sleep. Oh, this has been a good chat. I think we should do this every Sunday.
Yep. Is that it for today?
I think so. But once again, before we wrap it up, I want to say and stress this so much. Spirit boards, Ouija boards, or any divination tools are not a game. It is serious stuff. Serious, serious, serious stuff. You need to know how to properly open and close the portal. They are portals. You can bring anything through that portal. Anything at all. And I don't mean just saging yourself. That ain't going to help you. I mean, properly know how to open and close it. Because you got to protect yourself when you're opening that portal. You got to close it correctly and protect the vicinity and yourself that you're in. Okay? It is not a game. So if you email us and say, hey, I think I got a ghost in my house, and I ask you, okay, first question I always ask anybody, have you recently played with a Ouija board? And almost, what would you say? I think about 40% say yes. Okay, there's your answer. Why? You have something in your home. You open the portal. You don't have to close it. Anyway, so remember that it's not a game. Leave it up to people who know how to properly do it. Okay, but we are working on where you can watch us live, talk to Fred through the spirit board, talk to whoever wants to come through the spirit board. Actually, you'll get to see the spirit board planchette move on its own because Fred likes to move it by himself. We don't touch it. He moves it. There's no magnets. There's no nothing to it. He does it all the time. And then we will talk to the spirit board. And if we do it live, maybe we'll let you guys ask us a question in here, and we'll see what the spirit board says. And whatever the spirit board says, don't take it with a great of salt. Sometimes they like to tell you what you want to hear, or what they want to tell you. Sometimes they'll come true. Sometimes they don't. You just never know. So, anyways, anybody want to say anything before we wrap it up?
Nah, I'm good.
Stop stressing, start vaping, and we'll see you next time.
All right, darling.
Darling,
What
what
scares
scares
you?
you?
Excites
Excites
me.
me.
We'll
We'll
watch you on
watch
the next